What's going on, full-time family? The show is officially started. No countdown. But what we will do today, we're going to be talking about a lot of MMA news. A lot of stuff's went on since the fights this weekend. News coming up, current events in MMA, the sport we all are here to talk about and have some fun. So we're going to break down the fights last week. We're going to break down some of the fights coming up next weekend, 4 days, I believe, from now. We're going to have UFC 231, which is going to be, of course, headlined by Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, and, of course, the female super fight, the first female super fight of the year. Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Valentina Shevchenko, of course, at UFC 232, though. We're going to have Cyborg versus Nunes. So we're going to talk about all of that. But first, just to give the full-time family a little bit of time to roll into the building, we're going to play a UFC 231 song in the meantime, in between time. Then we'll jump right into the show. Probably be 60 minutes, 90 minutes, who knows. We'll be out of here before you know it. Let's get the show started, and we'll get to talking about these fights over the weekend. Might talk about Wilder versus Fury, but honestly, it wasn't what I needed it to be for me personally. Let's get into this MMA, though. Play Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Valentina Shevchenko, remix UFC Yankovic. Make sure you check it out. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway. It's going to be a motherfucking party. Yeah, that's the end of the song. I'm ready to start the mother freaking show. Yo, what's going on, my boy unemployed Mario Yamasaki in the building? What's going on? Good morning, brother. Kim Jong Uzi in here. He says, I got Shev. Yeah, I think, man, it's going to be hard to pick Joanna to win this fight. Like, if you're picking Joanna to win this fight, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be tough. She lost the 3 fights in Muay Thai. Valentina Shevchenko has had success at bantamweight at the highest level. Joanna's been fighting at 115. This really, it's hard to see Joanna winning this fight. I mean, she's literally going to have to, in my mind, pull off a submission. Maybe she can rock Valentina Shevchenko. It's going to be super tough for her to win that fight. So I for sure got to take Valentina Shevchenko, but this is MMA. We have seen crazy stuff happen. I mean, a lot of people originally didn't think Rose Namajunas was going to be able to beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? Rose Namajunas kind of, when she came into that Bisping Rockcourt, I mean, we could go on and on with upsets that we've seen of great fighters. And it's not like Joanna Jędrzejczyk is some scrub. She's definitely one of the greatest female fighters out there, but it's still a tough task. So I'm with you. I'm him, says, sup, fam? What's going on? I'm him, 247 in the building. So we're just going to go over the main card, man. I was watching the fights over this weekend, and during the fight companion, there was just a lot of boring fucking fights. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There was a lot of decisions, fights that were not super exciting. I mean, grappling, it just wasn't a lot of exciting fights. I mean, and not just for the UFC, Deontay Wilder versus Fury. I know it was a heavyweight fight. I was looking forward to the boxing match. I'm not even a big boxing fan. I'm a casual boxing fan. That's probably why I didn't like it as much. But yeah, man, I just didn't have a great time watching the fights this week. Now, the main card, we had some heat. The main card, we had some heat at UFC Adelaide, of course. I mean, we had Mark Hunt versus Justin Willis, Tyson Pedro, Shogun Rua, and then Junior Dos Santos versus Tai Tuivasa. Those are the 3 fights I guess we'll talk about here. None of the other ones really stand out. Tony Martin got a win. Sadiq Youssef, yeah. But Justin Willis defeated Mark Hunt via decision. That wasn't a great fight as far as the fight's concerned, but it was a big win for Justin Willis. It was a terrible night for Adelaide, right? I mean, if you look at the main event all the way up to down to the Mark Hunt fight, Mark Hunt, Tyson Pedro, and Tai Tuivasa all lost their fights. And man, I tell you, I didn't expect that. Like, I did think Junior Dos Santos had a good chance of winning. I mean, former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos, arguably one of the, I won't say greatest, but greater. He's one of the best heavyweights up there. When you're talking about MMA fighters in the world, former UFC heavyweight champion, win over Stipe Miocic, Cain Velasquez. Only 3 losses came to Stipe, Cain, and one other loss. Not coming to me off the top of my head, but he's only lost to some of the best heavyweights of all time. Tai Tuivasa still got a ways to go before he crosses that threshold of being even a title contender in my mind. He did have a good fight against Andrei Arlovsky, but well, actually, that wasn't even his best fight. He won the fight, but that wasn't a great fight. I actually wouldn't have been surprised if Arlovsky got his hand raised in that fight. I mean, it wasn't a dominant performance for Tai Tuivasa, his most recent fight. But before that, he had knocked out everybody in the first round. Every single opponent had got knocked out in the first round. But I didn't see that happening to Junior Dos Santos. Shogun Rua bouncing back off of his loss to Corey Anderson. I thought this was Tyson Pedro for sure. Tyson Pedro's a dangerous fighter, lost to Ovin St. Preux, but almost beat Ovin St. Preux in that same fight. Almost knocked Ovin St. Preux out before ultimately getting submitted. Fighting Shogun Rua, who has been impressive, but just a lot less active. Only fought like 1 time per year over the last 3 years, Shogun, even though he's been ranked in the top 5, and I believe he was when he fought Corey Anderson. Shogun was close to a title shot, but he was able to come in and knock out Tyson Pedro in the 3rd round. That was a shocker for me. Did not see that one coming at all. So congratulations to Shogun Rua. But yeah, that was a crazy result for me. And then, of course, Mark Hunt versus Justin Willis. I thought Mark Hunt was going to win that fight. I'm not super surprised that Justin Willis won. He trains out of AKA, one of the best fight teams in the world. A little inexperienced, but still a dangerous heavyweight. Was able to grind out the decision wins. So, pretty wild results. Not only was I completely shocked by Shogun knocking out Tyson Pedro in the 3rd round, and it's not even like Shogun couldn't do it. I just didn't expect it. But I didn't expect Tuivasa, Pedro, and Mark Hunt all to lose. I'll tell you that much. Not in Adelaide. But other than that, man, some good fights over the weekend. But we got way better fights coming up. Nicholas Moss says, "Yeah, Shogun got beat by Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, yeah. Anthony Smith's a fucking monster, though. JDS' last performance against that no-name was not that great." Says unemployed Mario Yamasaki. Yeah, it didn't look great, but that was kind of a fight where he was shaking off the cobwebs a little. You're talking about when he fought Blagoy Ivanov. He got suspended. Junior Dos Santos had got suspended by USADA, but then they cleared him, let everybody know he was innocent, and he got to come back. So he fought Blagoy Ivanov in that main event, and he got the win. It wasn't a bad performance, though. I think he won that fight via unanimous decision. It wasn't really close for me. It was a little slower. It wasn't a knockout. It wasn't like he was just brutalizing the guy by any means. But he fought 5 rounds and, kind of got his feet back wet as far as that ring rust. You got to shake the ring rust off if he had any of that. So I thought that was a good performance from Junior Dos Santos. And he got the win. Man, finding it hard to keep up with all the fights, says Brian419. I'm with you, man. There was 2 Bellator events I really didn't even get to cover this weekend because there's so much UFC, big boxing fight, but then you got LFA, you got one championship. Now there's so much going on. I'm with you. I am with you. So yeah, man, let's talk a little bit about some of the, at least one of the headlines, and then we'll talk about some news, and we'll look at UFC 231. But after the win in the main event, Junior Dos Santos, he believes it's the right moment for the Alistair Overeem rematch. And this is interesting because Alistair Overeem's also coming off of a very impressive 1st-round knockout himself. He's coming off of that first round knockout over Sergey Pavlovich. Was that his name? At UFC Beijing, I believe. Yeah. It was a UFC newcomer, but it was undefeated Russian heavyweight Alistair Overeem just knocked out in the first round. So now he's coming off a big win. JDS coming off a big win. Junior Dos Santos is like, let's get our rematch in. Now, I would love to see this fight. I think it's a great time for it. They're both coming off wins. Let's go. But I do know Alistair Overeem, after his win, he called for a fight with Derek Lewis, and I loved that fight too. So, I mean, if this fight gets made, I love it. Junior Dos Santos versus Overeem. We'll see where the UFC wants to go with this. But I also loved Alistair Overeem's call out of Derek Lewis, right? I think that's a matchup. Now, this fight, I feel like probably more competitive. I like this one maybe even a little more. But at the same time, I can never be mad at a Black Beast versus Alistair Overeem fight. I mean, interesting call out as well. Overeem is coming off of a win, and Derek Lewis coming off of that loss, of course, to Daniel Cormier for the title, short notice fight. I mean, he had all the odds stacked against him in that fight, did Derek Lewis. But still got a lot of stock in the heavyweight division. Still one of the best heavyweights in the world. Before he fought Daniel Cormier, he defeated Alexander Volkov. So I would love to see Overeem versus Lewis, but if you're going to give me JDS versus Overeem, the rematch, I'll take that as well. A lot of great fights possible for the heavyweights. The light heavyweight and heavyweight division, I feel like it's getting a lot better with the title contenders, with the prospects coming up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in two of the divisions that have been looked at as two of the UFC's thinner divisions over the last couple years. But he says, Junior Dos Santos says, everybody knows we fought back in the day. He was able to win that fight. I think it's the right moment to do the rematch. If you guys remember, when he was asking for a fight with me for a little bit of times, then when I was able to fight, he couldn't. Then when I was there on top again, he asked for the fight again. He got the fight. He won. Congratulations to him. So now it's time for the rematch. Let's go. So he wants some get back, man. And yeah, I would love to see the fight. So we'll see where that goes from here. Full time got the play-by-play, says Trey Young. Oh yeah, man, play-by-play on lock. Make sure you guys check out the Fight Companions if you haven't. But so yeah, let's talk a little bit about UFC 231 because that's only 4 days away, low key, and we got Max Holloway returning, taking on Brian Ortega. Man, and there's a million reasons for me to waver on my confidence in the current champion Max Holloway, but I'm riding with my motherfucking dog, Max Holloway. I know the whole pulling out of the fight with the undiagnosed injury. We still don't know what it was. Concussion symptoms. Was it weight cutting issues? We still don't fucking know what's going on with Max Holloway's health. And oh, I just saw today a picture of Max Holloway and Drake. Oh, that's not good to see. Not because he's with Drake. Drake's the fucking GOAT. You know what I'm saying? It's just the Drizzy curse. Like you've seen a lot of the times, and maybe a week before you're good. But a lot of the times, man, and you know how those goes, the Madden curse, the fucking Sports Illustrated curse, the Body Armor curse, all these curses people strike up and say, oh, if you get sponsored by this person, you lose. That shit seems real, something, the Lil B curse, they're all out there, right? But one of the recent ones is the Drake curse. We saw Drake posing with McGregor before his fight. I think Drake might have posed with LeBron before he lost the finals. Like, Drake's been posing with a lot of people that go on to lose their fights. And so that's another reason I was like, no, Max, you can't pose with Drake this week. Because if Max loses, he'll be another person that fell victim to the Drizzy curse. But hopefully Drake's just a big fan of Max Holloway, and that could very well be the case. There's been some lines in Drake's most recent album where people felt like he was kind of giving a shout out to Max Holloway, which was super dope. Either way, just something I thought of. Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega, dangerous. We just saw him fucking knock out Frankie Edgar. We knew about his jiu-jitsu, his ability to choke people unconscious. We knew about that from Brian Ortega. He's been down in fights, but he's never out. He's got that clutch gene, the Derek Lewis. He's like a featherweight Derek Lewis. Yeah, he might be losing the first 2 rounds, but he always gets the finish. And for that, Brian Ortega is undefeated. Brian Ortega is now, what is he, 15-0, 14? He's undefeated. But if it went to judges' scorecards, that might not be the case. He's 14-0. But yeah, like I said, a lot of the times, if it would have went to judges' scorecards, he would have lost those fights. And that's not the case for Max Holloway. One, he's not undefeated, but two, he's usually not losing his fights either. Max Holloway is one of the best fighters on the world, definitely one of the best stand-up featherweights we've probably ever seen to date, with the 2 wins he has over the former featherweight kingpin Jose Aldo in the fashion he did it, and he did it twice. The performances versus Ricardo Lamas and everybody else on the way up to becoming the featherweight champion. Max Holloway, what he's done is phenomenal. Only concern I have for him in this fight would be his health. That's really it. But if he's cleared to fight, I think I'm good with the champ. I think he's got a good chance. As far as the stand-up is concerned, I mean, for sure the edge to Max Holloway. This jiu-jitsu, I mean, come on, it's Triangle City, T-City, Brian Ortega. If the fight goes to the mat, Max Holloway could be in trouble, but he didn't become the champion by not having a ground game. And so Brian Ortega, we'll see where this fight. I'm really looking forward to this fight, but this is just the main event. Can't wait for it. I'll probably give a slight edge to the champ right now, but anything can happen for many reasons, and that's just one fight. We need a rap song for Ortega versus Holloway. I'm going to have to get on that. I've been so fucking busy. It's so bullshit, and this hasn't even been paying off. I got so much personal shit going on, non-beneficial to me, that I just have to help deal with. Just so much stupid shit, man. I've been falling behind on a lot of shit. I know I got one already for Valentina versus Joanna, so that's good. But yeah, I would like to do one for Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega as well. They even put subtitles on the embedded episode for Max says giving share name. That's crazy. What's going on with that? Max is so good. I hope he fights, says Trey Young. I'm with you. Max sounded drunk in all his interviews. Not a good sign, says giving share name. Anyone else think he still doesn't sound right? Oh, still? I haven't seen the new ones. I haven't even seen the new embedded yet. Bro, if he's still not sounding right, that's wild. Watch an old interview with Max and see how he used to sound. I think he got a bad case of CTE or something, says given sure name. That's fucking wild. How's the new job going, says Mr. Perfect 2005? Man, not like I was hoping. Not like I was hoping. I mean, it's fine, solid, but I mean, it's not like I was hoping. But my other job now, we got like a 2-week, 3-week fucking break, non-paid break. So just a lot of wild shit. So we'll probably have more shit going on the channel, but really I'm about to start hopping out here in these streets and fucking doing something to make some cash, man. Nothing wild, but I gotta figure something out. Nicholas Moss says, what the hell are they gonna do with Stipe because of this is bullshit. Yeah, Stipe Miocic, man, he seems like he's got a queue to wait in. I mean, there's a lot of potential fights for him if he's not just waiting on the title fight. Hell, we could see Stipe versus JDS again, Overeem coming off a win, that rematch, Francis coming off a win, Derek Lewis versus Stipe, Curtis Blades, he just lost. There's a lot of fights we could see, but they're not for the title right now, and I know Stipe wants that rematch. But honestly, fucking, if Daniel Cormier beats Brock Lesnar, Stipe might have to wait again, right? Because what happens then with Jon Jones? What if Daniel Cormier beats Brock Lesnar, and then now Jon Jones wants to fight Daniel Cormier? That's the biggest fight. What do you think DC's going to take for his last pro fight? We already know. He's already told us. I want 2 fights at the end of my career, and it'll probably be Brock Lesnar and Jon Jones. So Stipe might have to wait even longer if that were the case. But yeah, what's going on with Stipe does seem to be bullshit, man. But it happens, honestly. It happens to a lot of fighters, right? I mean, it sucks because it's Stipe and he was the champion, but it's not new. It's not like Stipe is, there's a lot of fighters that deserve title shots in their respective division and they don't get them for political reasons, right? I mean, Tony Ferguson, look at him. He's not even, doesn't have a title shot right now, 11-fight win streak. Max Holloway had to go on a 10-fight win streak to get his title shot. I mean, so there's a lot of bullshit that goes on with some people not getting their title shots, but for me, that's what it is with Stipe. It's not like a special case. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is fucked up. Rashid Ali Sayed says, I love MMA. I'm with you, Rashid. Nicholas Moss says, what the hell are they going to do with Stipe? Read that. Mr. Perfect 2005. Jones versus Stipe for the interim title. for John Jones versus Rumble Johnson for the interim title. Oh shit, Rumble coming back. I want to see that. Listen to this interview from 2012 and compare it to yesterday, says Given Surname. Holy shit, my nigga said listen to the one from 2012. He's digging deep. You know what? Actually, that interests me. Oh, let me pause that so you guys can. But yeah, actually, I don't want to get copy strike. I'll listen. I want to listen to that though. I was gonna say maybe we can listen to it with just the audio later. Trey Young says DC versus Nick Diaz. Interesting. Nick Diaz did say he wanted to fight him. He called him out, but I don't know about that. Nick Diaz, he's supposed to be coming back possibly versus Masvidal. That's a fight I would love to see, man. The 305 versus the 209. Let's get it. Yo, the microwave fucking brand new baby, guys, was just born like 2 nights ago. So now we're going to have a newborn downstairs. Microwave, you know what I'm saying? Congratulations to him, right? Number 4. But yeah, that's also some shit going on. Given your name, Nicholas Moss says, I don't understand people like DC all of a sudden. Yeah, I know it switched. I think people might, once he actually like gets in a fight with John Jones, maybe it switches. Who knows? But yeah, no, it definitely has switched. Mr. Perfect 2005 says, congrats, man. It came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. Was not expecting that shit to happen over these last couple of days. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about these fights. We talked about Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna. We talked about that a little bit as well. I mean, Valentina Shevchenko, the fucking bullet. I just feel like this division is hers for the taking. This is the division she was supposed to be in all along. Like this division, low-key, I feel like was, I don't want to say made for her because it was made for the UFC, but she's the fucking, I feel like she's been the flyweight queen all along. She's been fighting up at bantamweight, literally competing and beating the best bantamweights in the world, not named Amanda Nunes. And some people feel like she beat Amanda Nunes. But she beat fucking Holly Holm, and it wasn't really close. She outstruck Holly Holm. That was beyond impressive. She armbarred Juliana fucking Pena. Come on, dude. The shit Valentina Shevchenko has done is ridiculous. And that was at 135. Didn't get the W over Amanda Nunes quite, but boy, she got fucking close, and that's like a division up. Insane. That's remarkable. Now she's at her actual natural weight class, and we seen in her first fight what she did to Priscilla Cachoeira, which she probably would have did that to a bantamweight of equal skills. But either way, we've seen the destruction she can do at this division. It's been a lot of, we haven't got to see her fight since then because she's been waiting for the title shot, you know, Nico Montano situation. Now she finally has the title shot, but it's against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And Joanna Jędrzejczyk's a good fight. She can beat a lot of, she's one of the best female fighters on the planet. But what's crazy to me is she's still, I mean, as far as much of a chance against Shevchenko, she's got a little bit better chance than Nico Montano, but honestly, I don't see much of them having a great chance of beating Valentina. Like, Nico Montano's was less, but neither one of them got a good chance. It's not like Joanna's got a good chance. It's going to be a tough fucking fight. Now, what if Joanna comes in here at 125 and looks like we've never seen her? Honestly, in MMA, when have you seen Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight at 125 pounds? We do know that Joanna had bad weight cuts, tough weight cuts at 115. But even with that, I think she had a good weight cut. That wasn't an excuse coming into her last Rose fight, and she still lost that fight. So, but either way, she always has been a big 115. So she's gonna, I think she's got a chance to do some surprising here. She could shock the world. But I think Joanna shocking the world is winning one round. I don't think she can win the fight. It's going to be tough. If she does, it's going to fucking jaw drop, mind blown. But it's going to be a tough fight for Joanna in here. But 125, we've never seen her here. And even right here, it says 115 versus 125. Like, they don't even got her at flyweight on UFC.com yet. But we've never seen her here. So, going to be a great fight. I think like this Friday or something, we're going to have to like go watch Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk Muay Thai 1 through 3 over on like Twitch or something all together and just like watch those all in order. Because, of course, Valentina won all 3 of those fights, but some people say that the second and third fight were closer than people give Joanna credit for. So we got to go back and definitely see for ourselves. I think Val will take her down. Val is way better in the clinch and the ground. I think in my mind, my fan mind, Valentina's better on the ground and standing up. I think she's better standing up as well. She beat her in Muay Thai, which is a majority stand up, and she outstruck Holly Holm, and that Holly Holm being a counter strike. That's like somebody picking apart like a fucking Wonder Boy. Like, you gotta be a monster to pick apart somebody with that counter striking style where they're always trying to counter you and fight defensively. To actually beat that person up, that's very impressive. Could you imagine somebody like picking apart Wonder Boy? Fuck no. Like, he's made for someone that thinks they're gonna get over zealous and, blitz in. Yeah, you're going to sleep. So the way that she beat Holly Holm, just extremely impressive. Wheezing 336 says, Joanna could win this. Joanna has a 35-inch reach advantage. Oh, shit, you got a good point. That leg reach, 35-inch leg reach advantage, that's going to be how she has to win this fight, with her 35-inch leg reach advantage. Given Sure Name says, yeah, I don't see how Joanna wins this, but I'm low-key rooting for her. I'm kind of with you. I'm not rooting for her because I like Valentina Shevchenko, but I'm rooting for her because she's the underdog, and that's always an appeal for me. But yeah, I'm like, yo, let's see what we got here, man. This ain't Nico Montano. This is Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That's why I'm like, man, I don't see her having much of a chance, but this is Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Valentina's the bigger fighter, says Nicholas Moss. Oh, for sure. She was fighting at 135, having success. I don't think Valentina Shevchenko could make 115. Gonna be a hell of a fucking fight, and that's just the co-main event. Jimmie Manuwa versus Thiago Santos fighting at light heavyweight. I'm pretty sure. I don't think Jimmy's cutting down to 185. Santos fought his last fight at 205. A lot of 185ers moving up to 205 recently. Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos. I mean, these are guys you have to imagine could fight at 195-pound division if they had one. They're jumping up 20 pounds and having success, actually. 20 pounds jumping up. I mean, there could be a 10-pound gap in between there. There's talks of if they do make 165, maybe, because you don't want 165 and 170-pound division. Like, if you don't want 5 pounds, so then you go up to 175. Okay, then you got 155, 165, 175, 185. Well, fuck it. We need a 195 right in the middle. You think about guys like Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, or the bigger middleweights, the smaller light heavyweights. These guys could fight at 195, man. So, either way, they're going to be probably scrapping at 205. Jimmy, the poster boy Manuwa versus Thiago Santos. Somebody's probably going to sleep in this fight. I'm more confident in picking somebody a knockout in this fight than picking who's going to win. PK Boxing and MMA in the building. What's going on, brother? Make sure you guys check out PK Boxing and MMA. Salute. Kim Jong-Uzi says, gotta love Jimmy. Always comes to swing and bang. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Somebody probably going to sleep in this fight. I don't know who, but somebody going to sleep. Oh, these guys are fucking dangerous, both of them. But Thiago Santos Mareta, he fought at 185, but honestly, he always looked huge for 185. Jimmie Manuwa, great striker in the light heavyweight division, been one of the top 5 light heavyweights, top 10 for a while now. I got Thiago, says Trey Young. Okay. Thiago versus Jimmie Manuwa. It's going to be a good fight. What else we got on the card? Alex Oliveira, Cowboy Oliveira taking on Gunnar Nelson. This is a nice card. All of these fights. Gunnar Nelson taking on Cowboy Oliveira. This is going to be a good fight. Gunnar Nelson been scheduled for some fights recently. Either his opponent or him has been forced to pull out, so he hadn't been able to get a fight. But now he's taking on Cowboy Oliveira. You don't got to question him if he's going to show up. Cowboy Oliveira, man, underrated. I wouldn't say he's one of the best welterweights in the world, top 5 by any means. But I for sure think he can compete with maybe some of those top 10 guys. Cowboy Oliveira, the dangerous fighter, he can knock you out. He can submit you. Good cardio. Not really many major holes in this guy's game. Gunnar Nelson, for sure choke you out. For sure will real quick. So I'm really looking forward to this fight as well. Then we got Hakeem Dawodu versus Kyle Bochniak. Interesting fight. We got Hakeem Dawodu, undefeated Canadian prospect, taking on Crash Kyle Bochniak. We've seen Crash in that amazing fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov. We saw he was willing to bring it in that fight. I'm looking forward to this fight just because of that. I mean, of course, Hakeem Dawodu, undefeated prospect. We'll see what he can do. But Crash Kyle Bochniak made me want to watch his next fight when he fought Khabib. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Is there anything on the prelims? That's the main card. Anything on the prelims? Okay, Gadea versus Ansarov. Chukagian versus I. Okay. Elias Theodore versus Eric Anders. We got fucking Fabio taking on the footballer. That's a fight that I believe Anders has been calling for a while as well. Looking forward to that fight. Olivier Albin Mercier versus Gilbert Burns. That's going to be a good one. We'll see if OAM can bounce back, get on that winning track. Devin Clark versus Alexander Rakic all the way down on the Fight Pass prelims? Oh, shit. I need to see this fight. Alexander Rakic, his last performance, he looked fucking dangerous. This is a light heavyweight prospect I got my eye on. Devin Clark training out of Jackson Wink, training with John Jones and others. He's dangerous for sure as well. We'll see. Well, I'm going to be watching this one from the Fight Pass prelims. Brad Katona versus Matthew Lopez. Chad Laprise versus Diego Lima. Diego Ferreira versus Joke. Yeah. This one, I don't know anything about. But yeah, I'll watch Lima versus Laprise. Katona versus Lopez, but there's no way I'm missing Devin Clark versus Alexander Rakic. Like, if I was setting an alarm, it'd be to make sure I'm here for this fight on every other fight. Full time, you see Tyson Pedro washing out of the UFC. Only if he went to like a fucking Bellator or a One, or you know what I'm saying? Only if because there's so much opportunity, not washing out because of his skills. Tyson Pedro's a great fighter, a dangerous fighter. I mean, he's got a lot of potential still. Lost a few fights, that's fine. But no, he's got a bright future still for Tyson Pedro. Only way he washes out of the UFC is if he gets a better opportunity. If he becomes a free agent and Bellator pays him more, or One pays him more, or he wants to go win $1 million in the fucking is it the LFA? Maybe he wants to go win $1 million in the LFA. You know, like, there's just so many opportunities now for fighters. It's like, I don't have to fight in the UFC. I might get a better deal from somewhere else. So, I mean, but I don't, not because Shogun, just because he lost to Shogun. Man, Shogun's still a Shogun. I mean, he's still a legend of the sport. It just, you know, the thing that comes with legends of the sport, he's not even, I think Shogun's only like 36, 35. Like, he's not even 42-year-old legend. Like, it's just he hasn't been as active. But I mean, that as far as experience is concerned, Shogun had probably double to triple Tyson Pedro's experience. That's a losable fight for Tyson Pedro. I just wasn't expecting it, but that's for sure a losable fight for Pedro. If you consider Shogun's resume, who he's fought, his experience, the skills he has, it's a winnable fight for Shogun in hindsight. No, I definitely don't think Tyson Pedro would wash out. He's too good of a fighter. Trey Young says, next fight is Saturday. Oh, yeah. UFC 231, Shevchenko versus Jędrzejczyk, and Holloway versus Ortega coming up in just 4 days. Cannot wait. Now, with that being said, let's talk about a little bit of current events now. We've been going for about 30 minutes talking about fights, breaking down fights, past, present, upcoming. Let's talk about a little bit of current events and some news. Conor McGregor's legal team files a motion to dismiss the Michael Chiesa lawsuit. You could imagine his legal team would be trying to just get this thing dropped. Michael Chiesa, he was part of the whole Dali attack, and it's so far in the past now, right? UFC 223, it seems to be the whole Dali attack. Now that McGregor versus Khabib, the fight has happened. That was really what got the whole. It's really part of what got the fight in motion. I mean, there was already a chance McGregor could have fought Khabib, but that made it happen. That shit right there made Khabib and Conor say, you know what? Fuck all these other contenders. We need to settle this. We got to squash this. We got to fight. And it also made it potentially one of the biggest fights in UFC history. But what happened leading up to the fight was Conor threw that dolly at the bus, broke the window, cut Michael Chiesa on the head with the glass cut Michael Chiesa, scratched Ray Borg's cornea, shook Rose Namajunas up. All of that happened when Conor threw that dolly. And just knowing how lawsuits work, you could imagine somebody might file a lawsuit. Well, it took a little while, but Michael Chiesa definitely filed a lawsuit. And in the lawsuit, I think he filed for everything. He's trying to get some money. He didn't just file for my medical bills and my loss of wages. That's not it. He didn't just say, oh, I had to go get this stitched up. That costed me $2,000. And also I missed out on my fight. That cost me $30,000, so can I get $32,000? He didn't just go for. He's going for more money. He's like, hey, this is a millionaire This dude's got millions of dollars fighting Mayweather, fighting Khabib, wild and out, just throwing shit. He was in the wrong there. So you're gonna try and potentially get a little more money. It's just common sense, right? Well, for some people. Well, Conor McGregor's legal team is trying to dismiss it, saying this guy's not emotionally distressed. This attack wasn't even at him. You know what I'm saying? And I'll read a little more about it. But they're saying because Michael Chiesa, one of the things he's suing for is emotional distress and other things. Like, that didn't happen. Here it is. They're saying as a key part of the motion to dismiss was the assertion from Caterson, which is McGregor's attorney, that McGregor's attack on the bus was not targeting Chiesa, so the injuries sustained were not intentional. Therefore, legally, Chiesa cannot claim negligence or infliction of emotional distress, only battery and assault. So they're saying since he wasn't coming for Chiesa, he can sue for battery and assault, but that wasn't even for you. Now, I don't agree with that. You got to be careful because that's like saying, let's say, Rose Namajunas, let's say there was a kid, like someone that actually got like mentally traumatized from that, like, because that in my mind, that's what it would take, or someone that's just really easily shaken up. Let's say there was a family, innocent bystanders, just weak motherfuckers that, that maybe they had just been through some shit, or maybe when they were kids they were traumatized, whatever the reason was. You can't say, oh, well, Conor wasn't targeting them, so just because they're emotionally distressed, that he wasn't trying to do that. So what, motherfucker? When you threw that dolly, you put everybody on that bus at risk. So I don't really see that saving you from a lawsuit. You can't say, oh, well, he wasn't targeting them with the dolly, so just because they were innocent bystanders, yeah, they get a little something, but he wasn't targeting them. It doesn't matter. He was targeting the bus, wasn't he? They were on the bus, weren't they? So I don't know about that. Conor might still have to pay here, but that's the defense so far. He says, while the conduct alleged in the complaint is unquestionably inappropriate, it does not approach the rigorous standard of outrageousness as defined by New York courts, therefore further supporting the dismissal of the intentional infliction of emotional distress claim. And so, in addition, the attorney wrote Chiesa's filing did not include any specific instances of emotional distress. Chiesa, a seasoned combat sports fighter, fails to plead any allegations containing even a scintilla of factual specificity. God, this language. You gotta be a cold to be just reading this shit straight through. Factual specificity regarding the alleged emotional distress. The two emotional distress causes of action allege only that defendants caused severe emotional distress, mental trauma, and or bodily harm to the plaintiff. All right, you get it. Connor's trying to get from under this shit. His attorney, I should say, they're trying to not have to pay Michael Chiesa as much as he's suing for. He's trying to get maybe a cool meal. I ain't mad at it. Whatever you're trying to get paid. They're trying to pay as little as possible. So we'll see where that goes from here. But we got some upcoming fights that are not coming up this weekend that I am looking forward to. And that's a welterweight title fight. Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley. Welterweight title fight that seems they're on a collision course to scrap. I don't know how the fight's going to go. But, now you got Usman in the picture after that dominant performance he had over the weekend against Rafael dos Anjos. Boy, that might have been my favorite performance of the weekend, and it kind of got overshadowed because there was so much other fights and so much other shit going on. Wilder, Fury, UFC Adelaide, Bellator, 2 different Bellator events. But Rafael dos Anjos versus Kamaru Usman, that was a hell of a fight and a hell of a result for Usman, who dominated the fight and just never stopped, was relentless. Dana White even had to give him a compliment. That's how you know it was a good fight from Usman, when Dana White had to give him a compliment. He was like, listen, he's had a lot of bad performances in the past, and yeah, I've said some things about those bad performances, but tonight he was dominant. Like, he was, from start to finish, just the pressure. Like, Dana White was even giving this guy props. So, and when I was thinking watching that fight, was, boy, I don't care if you're Usman. I mean, I don't care if you're Covington or if you're Woodley. There's no way you're watching this Usman fight happy about having to fight that guy. Kamaru Usman looked like the potential next welterweight champion, while Woodley and Covington figure out their injuries and when they want to fight and when's the best date for them. Usman's ready to fuck somebody up. One of them, at this point, call me a prisoner of the moment, I think Usman might beat Covington or Woodley. I really do. I don't look at Colby Covington as this fucking dominant force running through the welterweight division, 9-0, never lost, the fucking nightmare. Like, Colby Covington is not somebody I look at as fighters are scared of. Like, oh shit, I don't want to fight that guy. Yeah, he might wrestle fuck me, but, you know, that's how I look at Colby. Like, I'm not looking at him as like the fucking, I don't even know where he comes from. Like, the Florida Nightmare. Kamaru Usman is the Nigerian Nightmare for a fucking reason. The thought about fighting that guy is terrifying. The pressure he brings, 5 rounds, you know he can bring it all 5 rounds. He's dangerous all 5 rounds. The wrestling is there. He'll try and finish you. I mean, when he was in the clinch, he was even trying to, he was haymakers with his shoulder, dog. You ever heard of that? No, but even when he was in a clinch, he was everything he had, he was putting it into them shoulder thrusts. Like, Usman, the pressure was relentless. And one of the reasons I've always thought Colby Covington had a chance to win this fight is because he could potentially put that pressure on Tyron Woodley we haven't seen any of his challengers so far be able to do. When you look at the brawler Robbie Lawler, it wasn't the same type of relentless pressure, wrestling pressure, that it's going to take probably to potentially try and test Tyron Woodley's cardio and defeat him in the later rounds, which where some people feel like may be his weakness. When you look at Damian Maia, he's not putting that pressure, test your cardio, he's not doing that. Wonder Boy, Karai, he's beating a lot of different styles. What Tyron Woodley's doing is phenomenal. It's very impressive. But he hasn't fought in his title reign somebody like Colby Covington, and damn sure nobody like Kamaru Usman. So he's got some tough fights ahead of him, even in this fight with Covington. But leading up to this fight, we don't have a date for it yet. We don't know when it's going to happen. Both of these guys are a little flaky when it comes to booking a fight, it seems. Colby Covington's responding to Tyron Woodley, who's made a bet talking about the fight. I'd like to make a bet on when the hell you guys are going to get together and actually set this thing up. If you listen to Dana White after the weekend, when he was asked about this fight, he kind of was like, yeah, those guys. And they're like, so are you having a hard time booking the fight with one of them? He's like, which one? Like, he's having a tough time getting both of them. You know, okay, now Woodley's ready, but now Covington's not. Oh, now Covington's ready, but Woodley's not. Oh, Woodley's ready, now Covington's not. Like, they never seem to be ready when it's time to fight each other. But Tyron Woodley proposed a bet with Colby Covington, and the bet was, every time you touch my leg for a takedown, it's $10,000. Let's just throw these hands. All right, we're both wrestlers. Clearly, you want to wrestle. I'll out-wrestle you. But if you want to fight, how about this? How about we just throw hands? Now, that seems like mental warfare. I mean, it's already starting. Honestly, it's smart. If you're Tyron Woodley, of course you would want to entice Colby Covington to just throw hands with you. You think Colby Covington wants to just throw hands with Tyron Woodley? This is MMA. If you can piss Covington off, if you can challenge him, if you can challenge his ego, his manhood, you don't want to throw hands with me, whatever you can do to get him off his game plan, that would be wise. To make him not just want to press you against the cage and take you down and just grind you out all fight. Maybe you can convince him into actually trying to throw some hands with you and putting his ass to sleep, because Covington probably don't want no smoke with Woodley when it comes to throwing hands. But Covington, he ain't playing into the game. He has a counter bet for Woodley. But first, let's read into Woodley's bet. He says, Woodley said, I'll bet you $10,000 every single time you touch my leg for a takedown. for a takedown or a shot. You've got to pay me 10 grand. I want people to see it for what it is. You don't want to see these hands. You don't want nothing but to try and out wrestle me. At the end of the day, you can't even do that. So I'm challenging you. No wrestling. You touch my leg, it's 10 bands. You touch my leg, I'll give you 20 bands. And hey, it sounds like a nice challenge, but Woodley, you probably got more money. So, I mean, like I said, it's smart for Woodley. He got a little more money at this point. So it's not like, oh, I'm giving 20 to your 10. But either way, it's a good challenge. Both of you are wrestlers. But I'll say this. I think if Colby Covington's going to have a chance to win this fight, it's going to be trying to out-wrestle Woodley. It's not going to be coming in here and, I mean, I don't know if we've seen Colby Covington, like, knock somebody out. I'm not talking about TKO. I'm talking about Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler, or when Tyron Woodley dropped Darren Till, like, have we seen Covington, like, drop somebody with his hands? Like, that type of power, that one-punch power. Have we seen that from Covington? Because, boy, you're going to need it trying to throw hands with Woodley. We know Woodley's got it. A lot wiser just to try and out-wrestle Woodley. And Covington is not falling for it. He said, he says, what I make of this, I'm going to counter him. I'm going to bet him that I'm going to give him $10,000 for every punch he throws. All 5 of them. So he's saying for every punch you throw, I'll give you $10,000. Now, I like that as well. You can take that 2 ways. He's either saying he's going to finish him fast or he's not going to get me. But what I take from that is, because if you're somebody trying to come forward and throw punches against a wrestler, that leaves you open for the takedown. That's why a lot of people, when they fight a wrestler, they're either sitting back and a lot of the times when they're standing up, their hands are lower than normal because they're always preparing for that shot. They're not able to just open up with their strikes like they want to because they're always worried about the takedown. So if a wrestler bets you to throw a punch at him, you better believe when you throw that first fucking punch, he's in on that double leg. So of course he wants you to throw punches at him. How about I bet you to throw punches at me? Throw some punches. First fucking punch you throw, I'm ducking under. Boom. So I want you to come in and try and throw punches. He don't want Woodley to play chess. We know Woodley's this fucking smart fighter. One of the smartest welterweights we can think of as far as putting together game plans. He might be one of the smartest fucking welterweights of all time. Of course, GSP's up there, but Woodley puts together great game plans and executes them. Fucking... We know he'll go in there and play chess. He's used to getting booed. He don't care about getting booed, dog. He's going to hold it down and try and get this win. So, if Woodley comes in and plays chess, he's going to be sitting back. He's going to have his hands low. He's going to be ready to stuff takedowns. He's going to be ready for uppercuts or whatever whenever you try and shoot for your takedowns. He's going to be ready to try and punish Colby. As to where if he's coming in throwing punches, trying to get $10,000 per punch, that's going to open up those takedowns for Colby. Both of these motherfuckers being very smart with these bets. Tyron Woodley saying, let's throw straight hands. Of course you would like to do that. Covington saying, how about you just be aggressive? Of course you want him to be aggressive so you can potentially get that takedown. So these guys are already starting the mental war. I can't fucking wait to see this fight. Former team, the fight is insane, man. It's just at so many levels. Former teammates, fucking opposite ends of every political spectrum you could imagine, racial spectrum, fucking... The style is, of course, just got a potential to be a chess match or a grappling match, but there's also potential somebody gets fucking put to sleep, and there's a lot behind it. So I'm really looking forward to this fight between Covington and Woodley once we can get it booked. It seems like there's some, it's a little hard getting these guys booked against each other at this point. Uh-oh, DC number 1 in here just got fucking spammed. Oh, shit, yeah, dog. Get the fuck out of here, man. He was only timed out. How do you gotta make that permanent. Motherfucker talking about ugly Arabs, all type of shit. DC, bro, you gotta get your life together, man. You can't be coming in here on that racist bullshit, bro. Get your life together, man. We'll see you when you reconsider. Let's see. You had him in timeout. No, we got a hide user on the channel. I should not be looking in my chat seeing all type of race bullshit, nothing like that. So, you're out of here. Now, a few more things to talk about. Brian Ortega not looking past Max Holloway, but would like a shot at Khabib. So pretty much not looking past Max Holloway, but kind of looking past Max Holloway, right? But it's kind of inevitable. Don't matter who you are. People ask what's next. If you win the fight, what would you? Now I know you don't want to look past, but if you win, bro, the best mindset to go in is I haven't even thought about Khabib. I haven't thought about winning this fight. Because I have to win this fight. I haven't thought about what's next. All I'm thinking about is that part, winning the fight. I'm thinking about, if I'm Brian Ortega, I'm looking more into Max Holloway's injury than any motherfucking fan could even care about. I want to know exactly what it was. I want to know if it was a concussion. Because I'm your opponent. All I'm thinking about is Max Holloway. I'm overdoing it. I'm thinking about the injury. I'm thinking about the matchup. I'm thinking about how I'm going to take you down. I'm looking at your fights. Khabib's not crossing my mind, because then if I got to think about Khabib, I got to think about, oh, is Khabib going to be suspended? What if he wants to fight someone else first? Am I even going to get the matchup? Am I the right, I get it, right? Stylistically, I love Ortega versus Khabib. Ortega, dangerous jiu-jitsu. Honestly, I'd rather see Ferguson versus Khabib, but I still like this fight. Ortega versus Khabib. If you're Ortega, I would like to try and choke out that guy. He likes to out-wrestle everybody. Well, I know how dangerous I am off my back, and wherever I am, I know how dangerous my jiu-jitsu is. I know my nickname is fucking T-City, Triangle City, because that's me. I would love to put fucking Khabib in a triangle. I would love the opportunity. It's a good matchup. I get that. But we got to be focused on Max Holloway right now. Because Max Holloway is dangerous. But this is a fight that Brian Ortega actually, whenever Khabib needed a short notice opponent, Brian Ortega said yes to the fight. Max Holloway got the call because he was the champion. He's the bigger fight. But Brian Ortega also said yes to the fight. Dana White confirmed. He was like, listen, and it was when Tony Ferguson got injured. He was like, we called both of those guys, Holloway and Ortega. They both said yes to fight Khabib on short notice, but we went with Holloway. Commission stopped Holloway from cutting weight. Iaquinta had to step up. But Ortega has already shown he was down to fight Khabib in the past. So we'll see, though. But he's got to get past Max Holloway this weekend first. And then even then, you got to think about who's next at featherweight. Or is Khabib next? For sure, would love a super fight. It would be a big payday and a big opportunity. It's a win-win. You don't lose your belt. You're fighting for someone else's belt. But is that the way Khabib wants to go? Or would he rather fight Ferguson or McGregor in a rematch, or fucking Mayweather even in some crazy, fight, boxing match? There's just so much potential to be talking about and speculating on this when you got a fight coming up this weekend. This is a matchup where our hands are both good, Ortega told reporters. He's a top game guy and a wrestler. I'm a bottom guy, and I'm jiu-jitsu. I'd watch. Talking about Khabib. He's a top, I'm a bottom. Fits well. Pause. He says, I was watching a lot of things in that fight where if I was in that position, I was like, there's a lot of things I would be doing differently. And that kind of just made me realize what I want as a super fight if I ever get there. And it's within reach. If I play my cards right, it's within reach. So he says, I've got these ideas that I want to go for, and if I'm successful, then hopefully I can start asking Dana White for them. It's the super fights, because when you look at it, you go, okay, the champions are good. You become a champion and you do this, and then you look at it, and some of these guys that make super fights, even you're like, damn, I wish I was a part of that fight. I like super fights. I want super fights. I want guys that can match up well where people don't know what's going to happen, like whether it's a title fight or not. I feel like this fight with Max Holloway is a super fight. So I hear Brian Ortega, and shoot, we could be looking at the UFC's new featherweight champion after this weekend, especially if Max Holloway's still not sounding good coming into his interviews and stuff, which I'm checking out right after we get off of this live stream in about fucking 15, 20 minutes, because we only got a few more things to talk about. But he could win this fight, and if he does, we'd be talking about Brian Ortega's super fights or Brian Ortega's next title defense. Like, it's all within reach, for sure. It's all within reach, but he's got to get it done this weekend. Weezen336 says, I want to see Covington Woodley before Usman gets a shot at the belt. Me too, but I'm saying fucking either one of those guys, You get that belt and hold on to it while you got it, because I'll tell you this much. I don't know. I think we'll see a delay. It's going to be some sort of injury. I'm telling you right now, whoever wins this fight is going to say, I broke my hand or my thumb, something, even if we didn't see it. Like my elbow, my shoulder, my hand. You know, that way they can have like 6 months off with the fucking belt, and Usman can either fight again or wait on them. I'll predict that. Whether Covington or Woodley, winner's going to have a fucking busted up hand or a back or a shoulder or something that prevents them from being able to fight Usman immediately. Not immediately, but in a nice time frame. Usman dominated RDA, but so did Covington, and he did it in a bigger cage. Bigger cage? Do you mean on a bigger stage? Usman's performance was much better than Covington's, in my opinion. Way much more relentless. I mean, Covington did beat RDA, but I mean, it didn't make you go, oh my God. Like, I was watching Usman's fight, I was like, fuck, bro, you cannot be watching this and be excited if you're a welterweight, dog. You look at Usman's fight, I don't give a damn if you're a contender. You're like, I gotta fight that guy if I want to be a champion. You know what I'm saying? You don't even want to fight him if you're a contender. You're like, I gotta fucking fight that guy? Good luck to me. I mean, I know I'm a fucking beast, but that guy, Usman, Nigerian nightmare? You don't have nightmares in your training camp, I'll tell you that much. Weezing 336 says, I mean, the octagon space was larger. The tough cage is smaller. Okay. Little technicalities and stuff. I personally don't think Usman gives a fuck the size of the cage. You can give somebody a fucking soccer field, and I think Usman's looking for you, hunting you down. You better not link up. Weezing 336 is easier for Usman to get RDA backed up. Yeah, man, he might have had a couple more inches or something. Like, it's not like there's like a soccer field cage. You know, like they're pretty similar. It's not like one's way bigger than the other. Like, you know, but there is a little bit of a difference. You know, but I'm not. No, I'm not buying that. Like, but Covington was better because fucking he had like 2 inches more octagon. Reverb Twang says, where do you think Mark Hunt will go? He can go anywhere he wants, man. He can keep fighting in the UFC. He can fight in Bellator. He can fight in ONE. There's just so many opportunities now. You can't really predict it. It used to seem like it's, oh, is he going to retire or is he going to keep losing? Now it's like, well, shit. He can retire. He can fight in the UFC. He can fight in Bellator, ONE championship. He can go to LFA, fight in a heavyweight $1 million tournament. Like, these guys got so many more opportunities now. It just seems, I mean, for a fighter, it seems dope. Like, when your contract is up, you got a lot of different opportunities now. I believe Mark Hunt, he's got a lot of Asian fans. When he fought for Pride and stuff like that, he's got a big fan base. So a lot of the people that have a big Asian fan base, I would imagine fighting for ONE would be something you would really enjoy. Demetrius, like even somebody like anybody that used to fight for Pride or Overeem, any of these guys, I could see them signing up for ONE. Like, hey, I know I got a fan base over here anyway. Something new. Or there's always Bellator. There's LFA $1 million. Like, there's so many opportunities. Moving on to the next topic, though, we got Cub Swanson pumps the brakes on the UFC 233 rematch with Jose Aldo, but it really don't matter because he still wants to fight, but he's saying February. But this UFC 233 card is way more stacked than I've even realized. I didn't realize how much this card was fucking coming together already, but boy, it's stacked. Cub Swanson says, I love this fight, but unfortunately someone spoke too soon. I'm not fighting on 233, but I'm willing to do it in February, February 17th on ESPN 1. So somebody thought that the fight was signed. Somebody probably reported it, whatever. You know how that goes. But Swanson's like, nah, not quite. Not at 233, but I will fight him February 17th, which isn't far away. That's only 2 months away. So that's dope. But Cub Swanson recently had some twins born, so, you know, he's been with the family and stuff. And honestly, he was active before that. He's had some fights. So he might fight Aldo next, but it will not be at UFC 233. But that's okay. Look at UFC 233's lineup. Cejudo versus Dillashaw. Champ versus champ. Askren versus Lawler. That's going to be a good fight, potentially, depending on what we see in it. But, I mean, it's title implications now. If Ben Askren comes in here and wins this fight like John Fitch, I think he's going to have to do something different. He's going to at least have to, even if he does win this fight with his wrestling, he's going to at least have to be relentless, at least have to go for the TKO, posture up, do some damage. He's not going to be able to just lay on and hold down Robbie Lawler and think fans are going to like that. That would not be a good first impression. So we'll see Ben Askren making his first impression against Robbie Lawler. Islam Makhachev versus Francisco Trinaldo. That's a fine lightweight fight for me. I'm sure casuals don't give a fuck. Paul Felder, James Vick. Love that fight. Yana Kunitskaya versus Marion Renault. Great fight. Joanne Calderwood, Arlene Lipsky. Looking forward to see how Joanne does. She just got a win that she needed, but she was losing until she got that submission. Looking forward to that one. Alexandra Albu versus Emily Whitmire. Cynthia Calvillo, Courtney Casey. And then, what I was going to talk about, I didn't even realize it was at 233. Alex Caceres versus Kron Gracie. I wanted to talk about that. Kron Gracie signed with the UFC, and he's meeting Alex Caceres at UFC 233. How wild is it, bro? Like, especially the newer fans. Like, that, the Gracie, there's so much legacy. It doesn't matter who you are. If you've got that last name Gracie, you're pretty much like MMA royalty. And Kron Gracie is no different. He trains with Nick and Nate Diaz, and he's the son of Hickson Gracie. But it's just wild, man. When you imagine, like, UFC 1 was one. Royce Gracie. I mean, just the jiu-jitsu, just the path of the Gracies through MMA that they've taken. They really, if they don't win those first, if Royce doesn't win those first UFC tournaments, and of course he fought Ken Shamrock, and we had fun watching all of those, and we're at like UFC 8, and we're going to keep going all the way through. But it's just wild. Where would the sport be? Where would the sport be right now? It's insane when it all started. But now we got Kron Gracie at UFC. I'm talking about UFC 1. We're at UFC 233. There's been fight nights. There's been Fox Sports. There's been different promotions, organizations, super fights. Here we are, UFC 233, signing Kron Gracie, meeting Alex Caceres, and I cannot fucking wait for this fight. Kron Gracie, do I know any Gracies personally? Fuck no. But I do know one of the ones that I am a little more familiar with is Kron, because I know he's good friends with Nick and Nate Diaz, and he's also had a few fights, and since one of my cousins who got me into MMA is such a Diaz brother fan, he's told me more about Kron Gracie as well. Like when Kron Gracie's fights were coming up, he'd be like, "Hey, Kron's fighting this weekend." And I'm like, "Okay, that's dope." So Kron Gracie's been on my radar. So it's super dope to see him in the UFC now. I feel like it's a winnable fight, even though Alex Caceres is dangerous, experienced. It's a winnable fight. So this might be on the prelims or something. This is a must-watch for me. I got to see Kron Gracie versus Bruce Leroy. Looking forward to it. So UFC 233 is going to be fun. That's, I believe, going to be in January. Now, there's been reports that after UFC 233, the UFC is going to open a 165-pound division. Ben Askren retweeted the report by BJPen.com that said the UFC will add a new division after January's UFC 233 event, and it would make a lot of sense. Potentially getting rid of the flyweights. Demetrius is gone. I mean, it seems like one of the secrets, it's like one of the worst kept secrets, it seems, that the UFC plans on folding the flyweight division. We've already seen some flyweights getting released for talking about it, but regardless, it seems like the flyweight division, if you listen to people's tone in their conversation, Dana White talking about how we tried with the division, it didn't work, like everything seems to be pointing toward the division closing. Well, we've also been speculating and hoping and waiting for a 165-pound division. So some speculate maybe we get rid of 125, add 165. Division for division, it's all good, right? But Dana White coming out and shutting that down, he commented on the post and said, not true. And with that being said, I'm sure for some people that makes it, that's a confirmation They're like, what? Dana White said it's not happening? That means it's happening. I'm sure that's going to come. Oh, Dana White said they're not adding it? That must mean it's a lock. But no, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, at this point, it would be a great division. There's so much talent at 155, so much talent at 170. There could be amazing divisions at 155, 165, 175, all with legit contenders, prospects. I mean, all challengers, everything you need, because there's so much talent in between those two divisions, I feel like. But we'll see. At the same time, you always gotta I want to be optimistic about it, so I hope good things happen. But I do know, as a casual boxing fan, that's one of the things that turned me off from boxing, is there's so many divisions, so many different belts and weight classes, and it's like, you see one guy's got 20 belts, you're like, there's no way you're like a champion in 20 different divisions. So some of them are green and some of them are red and some of them are the fuck is going on? It just gets confusing. So I hope that doesn't kind of like, it doesn't water things down at all, but I think it's fine because we're getting rid of a division and adding a division. We're not adding 20 divisions out of nowhere, or just adding 5 divisions. So we'll see what happens, but a lot potentially coming up in 2019 in the UFC and MMA in general. Jimmie Rivera, bantamweight, calling out Cody Garbrandt for refusing to fight. And this is interesting. Cody Garbrandt's a fan favorite. He definitely gets a little bit of a pass for this. He's got a great team. But Cody Garbrandt, he's really like, he's not like a McGregor, or in a sense that he's not near that big, but he's like a top star fighter in the sense that he seems to be in a position where he's going to take the win-win fights, like a Dominic Cruz. I kind of feel the same way sort of with Dominic Cruz. Like, he's looking for a title shot, or just anybody. I don't want to put a name on it because it happens in so many divisions and with so many people. But what I'm saying is, people, they get to the top, and instead of wanting to fight the contenders and just get to fighting, they want to wait and play the politics and wait for their next title shot. Like, do I want to fight a Sun Sal, Moraes, and Rivera? Or do I want to wait, and either have some sort of injury, just heal up my injury, or take some personal time and go spend it with my family, or take some time off, regather. In the meantime, let these motherfucking killers fight. We'll let a Sun Sal and Moraes fight, and the winner of that motherfucking fight can fight Rivera, and then at the end of that, there will only be one contender left, and then I might only have to beat that guy. But if I come back now, if let's use Cody Garbrandt for example. If I come back now and fight Rivera, then I might still have to fight Moraes, and then, that's 2 fights that are not guaranteed wins. I could lose either of those fights. But if I take some personal time off, though they let that sort itself out, who knows? In the meantime, Dominic Cruz could become champion. And if that happens, then I get a title shot. Because Dominic Cruz is going to want that rematch. I'm going to be the big money fight. Same thing with Dominic Cruz. I can either fight a Sun Sal and Moraes and Rivera and then hope for a title shot, or I can wait until TJ is just the champion, and once TJ has to defend his bantamweight title, it's going to be me. It's going to be Dominic Cruz. So Dominic Cruz, is better to just heal up an injury or take some personal time and wait until TJ fights Cejudo. Because if so, what if you fight a Sun Sal or Moraes and lose? You're not getting a title shot. What if you fight Rivera and lose? You're not getting a title shot. But if you just wait, then once TJ needs an opponent, you throw your name in the hat. And then you're like, hey TJ, I've got a win over you. I'm the one that they call the bantamweight GOAT. If you want to prove you're the greatest bantamweight of all time, you got to beat me, Dominic Cruz. If you want the biggest money fight, that's me, Dominic Cruz. We got the history. So if you're Dominic Cruz, it's smarter to just wait for your title shot than to fight these killers. And it happens in every division, not every division, but you see it all the time at the top of the weight classes. People will, that's the politics of the sport. Like, I'd rather just chill and wait until like if you're Cody, if Dominic becomes champion, you get a title shot. If you're Dominic, if TJ wants to fight a bantamweight, you get a title shot. Now, if you're fucking Rivera, Jimmie Rivera, you got to sit back and just know this bullshit's going on. Like, these motherfuckers are waiting for their title shots. I'm going to have to fight Moraes because I can't just afford to sit back here on my ass because I haven't became the UFC champion yet. So I don't have any money to just rest my laurels, and I can't just sit back and wait for a title fight. So I got to fight Moraes, and I got to fight a Sun Sal, and still, Rivera's been fucking itching to fight Garbrandt or Cruz because he knows he needs that fight. If I'm going to get to a title fight, I got to beat one of these motherfuckers, but they're going to sit out. So you're in a shitty position. But Rivera's calling him out for it. He's like, in an interview with Inside the Cage on BJ.com, Rivera said, "They told me Cody's supposedly hurt, but you see him training, and I don't know how hurt he could be. They said he's not coming back till March." And that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, at first, Cody Garbrandt, it was like a social media blackout. Like, when you got a good team, then they're going to give you the good shit. Like, they're going to tell the UFC, hey, man, Cody's injured. Like, even if the UFC don't buy it or believe it, they can't do nothing but take your word if you get a doctor's notes. Fighters fight when they're injured. No fighter comes into a fight 100%. But whenever you're playing the politics or whenever you're trying to sit out, that's when you're like, the injuries are a little more like, I really need to heal this knee up. Like, what? You're sending, like, the UFC sends you a contract, right? Let's say you're Cody Garbrandt. You get a contract to fight Moraes and a contract to fight Rivera. Yo, I got to heal this knee up, dog. But if that contract would have came to fight Cruz or fight for the title, you might have said, I'm ready to fight. Fuck it. I'm not 100%, but I got to take this opportunity. So, he says, Cody was ranked 7th. He got lucky. And sucked somebody's dick. Oh, Jimmie Rivera is not holding back. Oh, shit. I didn't expect that. He said, he's got some points, though. He says Cody was the 7th ranked guy that got lucky and sucked someone's dick or something like that and got a fucking shot. He's got a title shot. He ended up beating Dominic Cruz, who can't box, and he became the champ. He defended the belt and lost it right away to Dillashaw. Then he fought for it again and lost to TJ. And they were quick finishes, so I don't think he's one of the best fighters out there. I think he's in the way, and him not wanting to fight till next year, I think he should lose his spot. Great point, and I'm sure Rivera's got to be frustrated at this whole situation. It sucks to be told you're going to get to fight someone and receive a contract, and all of a sudden the UFC takes it away that quick. I would love to fight 3 or 4 times next year. It's just hard right now because it's like, do I take a fight just to take a fight, or do I take a fight that makes sense? Those are the things I'm looking at. So now Rivera's in a position like, so do I do what's best for my career or do I just keep fighting to fight? Ideally, you want the fighters to remain active and be fighting, but you got to see where Rivera's coming from. I'm fighting for nothing. It's not for nothing because I'm going to get a paycheck. But as far as becoming the champion, which I've proven that I should be able to at least get a contender fight. Even if you're not going to give me a title fight, let me fight the number 3 contender. Let me fight the number 2 contender. Oh, they're injured. They're hurt. They're politics. What the... Like, if you're Rivera, man, this shit sucks. Like, of course Cody Garbrandt's injured. Well, he had a fight with Dominic Cruz. Jimmie Rivera had a fight with Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz got his arm broken in practice, and now he's not taking the fight again. Dominic Cruz was on Ariel Helwani's show calling out TJ, selling the fight good. You want to be the best, you have to beat me. I've already got a win over you. So whenever TJ Dillashaw needed an opponent, Dominic Cruz was ready to fight. Name in the hat. But now it's, why don't we, since you can't fight TJ's fighting Cejudo. So how come we don't rebook the fight with Rivera? I'm sure Rivera would love it. That's the politics of the game. Cody Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz have the politics on their side. And Cody has for a while. He makes a good point. Cody had to have been marketable. Now, I'm not saying Cody sucked no one's dick. That's clearly fucking crazy. That was wild. That was. I mean, it would explain a lot, but I don't think he did that, clearly. But, oh God, let me stop. But what I'm saying is he got fast-forwarded. Either he was a draw, something about Cody Garbrandt made the UFC put him in this opportunity. Because he got to fight Thomas Almeida, very impressive win, and he knocked him out. But after he knocked out Thomas Almeida, Cody Garbrandt was allowed to go back in the rankings. I knock out the number 6 guy and then you let me fight the number 12 guy? How do you get to knock out someone and then fight somebody easier and then jump to the title shot? Because that's what happened for Cody Garbrandt. He knocked out Thomas Almeida, very impressive, and that's what really put Cody on my radar. I was like, oh, this motherfucker's a beast. This dude could be a future champion. Cody Garbrandt, holy shit. I'm looking forward to his next fight. I wasn't expecting it to be against a lower-ranked opponent, but that's what put Cody Garbrandt on my radar when he knocked out Thomas Almeida. So he goes from knocking out number 6th ranked Thomas Almeida to fighting like number 10th ranked Takeya Mitsugaki. So he knocks out number 6 and then number 10, not vice versa. Normally you move up in the rankings. You go 10 and then 6. Cody got to knock out number 6, then knock out number 10, and then skip everybody at number 5 and go to the title shot. And lucky for Cody Garbrandt, he won. He actually won and became the champion. But he got to skip the whole top 5. The Riveras and all these motherfucking killers that don't got the politics on their side. So now that he becomes the champion, good fucking luck to all you guys that just got skipped. Now you got a whole nother fucking puzzle up here to play politics with. So, if you're Jimmie Rivera, this shit's gotta suck. You know, you're in a position where I just keep fighting to fucking fight and risk my top ranking. This is your opportunities. Just fight for your paycheck and hope that a title shot comes, but it doesn't seem like if you're Rivera, it's going to be a title shot's coming, as close as he is. So, because you still got Moraes and a Sun Sal. They're about to fight, I believe, in an interim title fight, which is even crazy. And maybe they make it not for the interim. But if they're fighting in an interim title fight, the winner of that fight fights next for the title. So you're Jimmie Rivera, like, so much shit going on. Wild, wild, wild west in the bantamweight division. But I kind of see how it happens, like, as far as the politics are concerned. And if you're a guy like Jimmie Rivera or Marlon Moraes, oh, yeah, you don't want Cody Garbrandt's name to even be mentioned. Bro, you lost twice. First, you got to skip the top 5 to get a title shot. Then you lost your belt by KO, got an immediate rematch that nobody else gets, and you got fucking knocked out again. Like, if you're a bantamweight, you got to be pissed at this Cody Garbrandt situation. This motherfucker got to skip the whole top 5, beat Dominic Cruz one time, and then, like, because, right, you see champions like Luke Rockhold. They get knocked out by Michael Bisping. The world is shocked because a lot of people feel like it's fluky. No one saw that coming. And they tell you, you don't get no immediate rematch. You just got knocked out. You don't get an immediate rematch. TJ Dillashaw loses a split decision to Dominic Cruz. You don't get an immediate rematch. So you get knocked out, you don't get an immediate rematch. You win a split decision, you don't get an immediate rematch. But if you're Cody Garbrandt, who got to skip the whole top 5, you get knocked out, you get an immediate rematch. I'm with Rivera. What's going on? Does he have some fucking Twitter followers or 10 million followers or something I don't know about? Now, it never crossed my mind whose dick did he suck, but Jimmie Rivera, he laid it all out there. But boy, that's wild. But yeah, man, if I'm Rivera, I'm asking the same question. Whose fucking dicks are these guys sucking? Because I can't get a fucking opportunity. But it is what it is, man. We'll see. We'll see. Tremaine Flim says, love you, full-time, no homo. You got to say that shit, like, with homo, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Just because he got peeps that are in good with Dana. He's got a great manager. I think his manager, Cody, isn't his manager Ali Abdelaziz? That's what I'm saying. When you got one of the best managers in the game, bro, he gets those opportunities for you. This dude almost had Sarge Eubanks a title shot at Madison Square Garden. That's why I say Cody Garbrandt has a great team. His management team will get you a doctor's note or whatever you need to keep you in the politics. Like, you might need to sign with Ali Abdelaziz if you want a title shot. Love you full-time, no hetero. That's better. We need to start that. Like, say some gay shit and say, like, no hetero. That's way better. Whose dick is he sucking? No hetero. We're there, dude. Oh, that shit is epic. No hetero. And Jay Skill says he had a good story behind him and helping the kid with cancer. Yeah, once the story's told, though, it's like, do you get the immediate rematch? Like, so what? Does everybody need to go? Yeah, I don't want to go there. Like, so, yeah, that's tough. But he did have a great story, Cody Garbrandt. Does have a great story, and especially with little Maddox and stuff. But how do you do that? Like, so do all the prospects right now need to go find them a little Maddox and start working on a story? Like, all the prospects out there right now, like Sean O'Malley, Aaron Pico, all these dudes need to go find a little Maddox. But different, not the same. And you don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. But I'm just saying, like, boy, did that help. But yeah, so I completely understand Jimmie Rivera's frustration. Honestly, shit like this, it really would fucking, I don't know, like, it takes away from your motivation as a fighter. You see fighters sometimes like lose their motivation, like when they don't feel like they're gonna get a title shot, and the people tell them, "No, you'll get a title shot. You just gotta talk trash." And then you talk trash, and like these are the people that talking trash don't work for, right? They're like, no, he got the opportunity because he was talking trash. So you get on the mic, talk some shit, right? You're Kevin Lee, and you call out Khabib, or you're Usman, and you call out Covington, and you don't get the fight. They're like, yeah, but that other guy got the fight because he was talking trash, but it don't work for me, but it works for him. If I'm Jimmie Rivera, I can get on this microphone and call out Cody Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz until I'm blue in the face. If they don't want to fight me, this call-out's not going to work. So, weird situation. You need a great team, man. I really feel like you need either Ali Abdelaziz, Adi Attar. There's the brothers, Malky Kawa and Abraham Kawa. Those guys. You need one of those managers. Don't come into this shit with your best friend or your coach. Nothing like that. You need a legit manager that's got a good relationship with the UFC. And even then, they still have to... Even then, some guys like, right, Ferguson and McGregor got the same manager. So sometimes then you're like, well, shit, if you're Tony Ferguson, it's still hard to get a title shot. Or Usman, I believe his manager is Ali Abdelaziz. He can't always get you that title shot, but he's got Usman fucking phenomenally close. So even with those guys, it's not a guarantee, but it seems like usually the best people that get the best opportunities have one of those managers. So, moving on, one or two more things to talk about. Oh, where is forward when you need him? Michael Bisping says Israel Adesanya is great, but I think I'd have an easy time with him. Michael Bisping, I mean, I've never known him to be on any type of drugs, but he was smoking some shit this morning. He must have been live on podcast or something with Louis Gomez and hit the bong something, because Michael Bisping sounds high. This dude thinks he would have an easy time with Israel Adesanya. I'm just going to read this for you guys because you wouldn't believe it if I told it to you. But speaking on his podcast, the Believe You Me podcast, Bisping gave his thoughts on the Anderson Silva-Israel Adesanya upcoming match. He says, Israel's an entertaining guy. He was talking about the fight with Anderson and how he looks up to him and he doesn't want to kill his hero, but that's what he's going to try and do. And I don't know if it's that simple. Anderson is very capable, and Israel said as much. We'll see what happens. I think Anderson knows his back is up against the wall. For him to have any kind of career after this fight, he has to win this fight. He has to look good. Of course, he had the whole thing with steroids as well, so Anderson has a lot to prove right now. So I wouldn't be running out there and putting money on Israel just yet. He said, I like Israel Adesanya, but I'll tell you something. If there's one person, if you ask me who I want to fight right now, it would be Israel. This is Michael Bisping talking. Oh, shit, guys. This is Michael Bisping. He said, I like Israel Adesanya, but I'll tell you something. If there's one person, if you ask me who I want to fight right now, it would be Israel. When I look at him, listen, he's good, he's great, but I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not saying I'm not impressed. I'm on the hype train. He's good. He's beating people. He's beating the Marvin Vittoris of the world. He had a good win against Derek Brunson, but Derek Brunson looked like shit. He was terrified. I think I would have an easy time with him. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. He said he would have an easy time with him, guys. Given Surname says Bisping been taking shots. Dude wasn't ready to retire, but his health forced him out. Yo, he might come back for one. Fuck it. The way he's talking, he might have to come back for this one. He might have. You can't just be talking about Israel Adesanya being an easy matchup if you ain't ready to sign back up, buddy. I need to see Adesanya versus Bisping. What I'm seeing right here, I need to see Bisping versus Adesanya. Israel keeps his hands low. Someone's going to KO him one day, says Reverb Twang. You might be right, but it won't be Michael Bisping in my mind. But hey, we've seen him do it to Luke Rockhold. Leon Dubson says Bisping a little too confident in his own stand-up. Bisping had to have been joking, says Tremaine Flynn. I'm with you. I hope he was joking. Bro, Bisping is such a character. I actually believe him. Like, I think he... I don't think he was joking. I hope he was joking, but I don't think he is. That's why I fuck with Bisping. This dude is funny. He says, I think I would have an easy time with him. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. He might be joking. This is so epic because I don't know if he's joking. Could you imagine that, though? Michael Bisping is sitting back, retired, looking at like one of the best prospect stand-up in the world. Like, I think I might have an easy time with him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's done great against Marvin Vettori. He's like just throwing shade. Oh, this is epic, bro. MMA Buds in the building. What's going on? Chris Court says you never know. He matched up okay with Anderson Silva, but or other than that flying knee. I hear you there. But Adesanya, I feel like, do you think Anderson, that wasn't prime Silva, right? I think Adesanya is a lot closer to prime Anderson Silva right now than Anderson Silva is. So, interesting, man. But Michael Bisping continued. He said he fought Derek Brunson, and I thought Derek Brunson was going to give him a hard time, but he made easy work of him. But Derek Brunson looked like shit, so now he's fighting Anderson Silva, and if he beats him, it's not fair to Israel. People will say, yeah, but he beat 43-year-old Anderson Silva. It's a tricky one, and it's kind of a lose-lose, because if he beats him, he'll get that. If he loses, he got beat by a 43-year-old Anderson Silva. I'm with him on this. It does seem like a lose-lose. If you lose to Anderson Silva, you just lost to 43-year-old Anderson Silva. If you beat Anderson Silva, you just beat 43-year-old Anderson Silva. Like, I don't... unless you're just looking at resume and what it means, like, of course you would like to have Anderson Silva's name on your resume. And when you look back 20 years, it's going to be amazing to see, oh, he beat Anderson Silva. But as far as what does it do for you today, I don't think it's that hot. Like I said, you beat 43-year-old Anderson Silva or you lost to 43-year-old Anderson Silva. Either way, it's not very impressive. I mean, it's Anderson Silva, but like I hear what Michael Bisping is saying. He said, fact of the matter is he deserves the hype. He's very exciting. He looks good. He fights with an exciting style. He's entertaining on the microphone, inside the cage, outside. I'm on the hype train. I think he's great. I'm only saying I want to fight him from a competitive standpoint. Hey, he is a fighter, just retired. I mean, it'd be a fun one. I would love to see Bisping come out of retirement. It'd be a good fight. I always love to see I didn't want to see Bisping retire, so I'll watch the fight, but it's almost laughable whenever I think about it being easy for him. An easy? No way. I don't see Adesanya being an easy matchup for any middleweight on the planet. I mean, Chris Weidman would be my favorite matchup if you're trying to find the best matchup, but even then, that's a tough fight. Because Adesanya's got amazing takedown defense. Him says Bisping's drunk. Hey, now we're talking. MMA Bud says Bisping delusional joke. It did sound pretty wild, man. Third Eye First says, what it do, y'all? It was a long card. Oh, yeah, I'm with you, Third Eye First. This was probably, and we're just now getting to December, but I will say this, man. Probably my least favorite card of the year. As far as even hindsight's concerned. Every single other card, even if I wasn't looking forward to it as much, I was like, holy shit, this card delivered. But this one, there was a lot of long fights, man. It was a long card. I was with you, Third Eye First. I love you, boy. Oh, yeah, and speaking of that, Bisping, how about if we're going to unretire? How about we unretire, come back, fight Adesanya, fight Romero, call it a career. Let's go. JCO says, if this dude don't make weight against Robert Whittaker, there is Israel on the same card to step in. That's dope, but Israel Adesanya said that he doesn't want to take the fight on short notice. He said they offered him pretty much one of those fights like, do you want to be on the card just in case that somebody doesn't make it to the fight? And he didn't want to do that. Israel Adesanya wanted to be prepared for the championship fight. There was a headline that came out last week where Israel Adesanya turned down the replacement title shot. And I was like, huh? But it is what it is, man. We will see where he goes. But and it's not if he don't make weight either. I would say that Jay Skills is if he gets injured, because if someone misses weight, usually the champion still fights him. If Gastelum misses weight against Whittaker would probably still fight Gastelum. Now, if Kelvin Gastelum trips on a cord the week of the fight and fucks up his leg, that's when you need a new opponent. But unless he gets hospitalized from the weight cut. But if Kelvin Gastelum just missed weight by 2 pounds, Whittaker would still fight him. Same with Woodley and Till. He's like, if Till misses weight, I'm fighting Till. I'm not fighting Usman because Till misses weight. I'm fighting Till. I prepared for Darren Till. So I don't care if he misses weight by 2 pounds. I'm still about to fight this guy. Money Talk says Jay Skills, he's still on the same card. He's still on the same card, so that's a good sign, but it was interesting to see him kind of say that he wouldn't do it. Given Surname says, if Gastelum wins the belt, I'll be so shocked he won't miss at 185. I wouldn't think so either, but I think he already has missed at 185 once, right? Who did he fight? I think Gastelum, and maybe it was just the first attempt. But yeah, I think he might have already missed weight one time at 185 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. But he might not have. It might have been Hendricks or someone else I'm thinking of that moved up and then still missed weight. For it to be a title fight, they both have to hit 185. No, that's for it to be a title fight for Gastelum. If Gastelum misses weight, he can't win the belt. But if Whittaker defends his belt, he still defends it. Same goes. If Whittaker missed weight and Gastelum won the fight, Gastelum would still win the belt if he made weight. Whoever makes weight can still win the belt. But if you miss weight, you can't win the belt. So if Gastelum were to miss weight, he would not be fighting for the title. But yeah, so one other thing, I don't even know what it is. Last topic of the day. Bellator signs undefeated fighter Austin Vanderford, a.k.a. Mr. Van Zant, UFC flyweight Paige Van Zant's husband. And it seems like this guy's going to be a heel, of course, because all the simps out there that comment on Paige Van Zant's Instagram, with the heart eye emoji. Oh my God, Paige, you're so hot. Oh, what I would, simping out. So you saw it a lot with Miesha Tate. People didn't necessarily like Brian Caraway because everybody loves Miesha Tate. So they're like, man, fuck that guy. You need somebody like me. You know what the fuck I'm talking about? You know how these fucking simps think. They're delusional. So the delusional simps, of course, are immediately going to not like this guy because he's dating Paige Van Zant. And to them, that takes away from their chance, which was already non-existent. But Austin Vanderford signed by Bellator, and I am not surprised. This guy should have been signed by the UFC already. He fought on the Contender Series, didn't get the contract, but he's got selling power. The fact that Paige Van Zant and him are so public with their relationship, if you're the UFC, sign this guy. Even if you're putting him against prospects and then he loses out. Now what happened is he gets signed by your competitor, and now you've got one of your biggest stars, Paige Van Zant, promoting a Bellator fighter because you didn't want to sign this guy. What was he asking for? Did he ask for too much? Now whenever Paige Van Zant with her new boob job and she's promoting shit and she's on there, now all these people are going to fucking see a Bellator fighter. All these Paige Van Zant simps are going to fucking hate this Bellator guy. And they're going to watch Bellator to see him lose instead of the UFC. You got to just pick these guys up, I feel like. This guy, and he's got already been on every one of his MMA show. I mean, he's got Paige Van, he's got connections, dog. His fucking wife is one of the biggest female MMA stars that was on Dancing with the Stars. You don't want to sign this guy? Okay, Bellator, swoop in and take him from you. Big signing by Bellator. Smart move. I don't even know how good this guy is a fighter. Actually, he's undefeated. He's clearly pretty talented. But it doesn't matter. He's marketable. He's going to sell tickets and bring eyes to your product. He's a prospect. But Bellator is super smart for signing this guy. And in Bellator, he can even have more success. If the UFC thought he wasn't ready or something, well, Bellator, they'll make him ready. They'll get him ready. I'm looking for... I want to see this guy's fights. When he fights, I'll tune in. Not because I want to smash Paige Van Zant or, because I'm some Paige simp that hates the guy, but just because I know who he is. He's on my radar. I don't not like the guy. I think he's probably pretty cool. Jay Skill says Woodley is at his peak now. No one beats him at 170. Well, his peak might be today, and he might fall off the peak tomorrow. Father Time loses to no man. Woodley might be 36. Maybe he takes all year to figure out when he's going to fight Covington, and he fights Usman next year. I tell you what, nobody might beat Woodley today, but Usman might beat him tomorrow. I'll say that. Or shit, Covington might beat him a couple months from now. I do believe I'm with you. Woodley's real. He's at his prime. I haven't. I didn't see Till. I didn't see none of these dudes beating Woodley. But the shit I see when I look at Covington and Usman, they present different challenges. They're different. They're different. Different fights, man. This Woodley now is going to have the toughest 2 fights of his championship reign, I believe. No hetero. Rivera Twang, no hetero. No hetero. Let's go. Yo, no, I do like his tattoos, though. No hetero. Let's go. This is the new trend. No hetero. Ali Avzar says, I already read that. Tremaine Flynn says, I kind of think Usman can beat Tyron, but he could get knocked the fuck out, too. I'm with you, Tremaine. Usman can beat Woodley. Will he? We don't know. But he's someone that can beat him. He can beat him. He got a chance to beat him. He might get knocked out for sure. Anybody might. But no, he can beat him. 100%. And at 100%, I mean, we saw him at 30% against Emil Meck. He was probably, about 70% against Usman. Could you imagine 100%, against RDA? Could you imagine 100% Usman, dog? Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington, you better be prepared for 100% Usman. So, with that being said, man, looks like we're going to be ending the show on Paige Van Zant. I couldn't think of his name. Austin Vanderford. No hetero. We got any songs we're going to play to end the show, guys? That was it for the show, man. It's been a fucking awesome show. Probably be doing more shows than the 2 a week we were going to because the new job that I have hasn't been going the way I was hoping, but you know how that goes. You get a prospect, you got bright hopes, and you know what I'm saying? But even if it don't, we're still going to grind through it. But my other job, now I'm going to have a big break on that job, so, yeah. But I got to figure some shit out. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys coming through to the show. We'll be back for sure this week. Man, we're going to start doing some big things on Patreon, too. So, if you want to see another live show Thursday, for sure Friday we'll be live on YouTube. Thursday, I think I'm going to do a live show on Patreon. Even if we only got fucking 25 patrons. Even if only you 25 motherfuckers watch it, that's cool with me because I appreciate you guys. And with the way YouTube's been going, I want to do something else anyway. I don't want to only do Patreon because I don't like the thought of a paywall. But Twitch, it's got to be something, man, because YouTube is not... it's just not cutting it. So we will see. Salute to the family. Given Sure Name, Jay Skills, Reverb Twang, Ali Avzar, everybody that fucking came through today. Much appreciated. Tremaine Flynn. I'll see you guys again on the next show. It is what it is, man. Let's go to UFC Yankovic and then let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. What song we playing? Uh-oh. Tyron Woodley. It's a good time. No hetero. Salute the Body Snatcher, boxing, MMA, and fitness. Smash the like button. Need my blue belt. Did you sign up for Patreon, Jay Skills? If so, I'll get that. Ow. Oh, well, I got to get you here. Hey, I'll do that today. I'm going to do that right after the show. I'm going to get you your motherfucking blue belt, J Skills. Oh, you can't hear it? You can't hear it? I got you. I got you. I got you. You can't fuck with me. Yeah, I know. Look, I'll beat your ass. Here we go. UFC Adelaide. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat him on God though. Talk slick, move quick like a vato. One hand behind my back with my eyes closed. You can't fuck with me, yeah, I know. Look, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. No header roll. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat him on God though. Talk slick, move quick like a vato. One hand behind my back with my eyes closed. You can't fuck with me, yeah, I know. Look, I'll beat him like a black belt. If a nigga fuck with me, then he assed out. I'ma sit his ass down, back against the wall, then I max out. If you want smoke, I'm a gas cloud. No time for you class clowns, cause my bitch got her ass out. And she wiggling, wobbling, and she moving, and she shaking it for me. And now these niggas getting mad now, probably cause they salty and they jealous cause they really ain't been making no money. Hold up. Let me go on and switch my flow up. That's why everybody know us. Cause we throw them from the shoulders like some motherfucking soldiers. And I thought we fucking told ya. We ain't choose this life, it chose us. We do you like a pipe and smoke ya. Pause. I don't wanna talk, I just wanna break your jaw.